You keep in your garage hedge trimmers, the Christmas decorations, last week's curbside recycling, or, like Tony Rowe, is your stable a haven of horsepower, specifically a one-man museum of vintage fire engines?
I love them. I mean, this fella is the one with the Rolls-Royce engine. This is a straight 8 Rolls-Royce engine. It does a mile to the litre of petrol. This fella would do 50 mile an hour. And a commercial vehicle in the early 50s doing 50 mile an hour was unheard of.
In all, there are 15 of them. Many he's restored himself, horse-drawn, hand-drawn. For heaven's sake, the oldest dates back 250 years. We could have stayed there all day. He's not entirely sure why he bought the first one. Impulse, probably, but like eating popcorn, once you start, very difficult to stop.
There isn't that many that you really want to collect, you know, if you know what I mean. There's, to some degree, a fire engine is a fire engine, and if you've got a particular sort of one, you don't really want to... And I'm not an anorak about it, you know what I mean. I'm just looking after a bit of history.
Get on, get on, get on!
Tony Rowe, OBE, is a one-off. He left school at 15, joined the Royal Marines as a bandsman, fixed engines on powerboats, set a water speed record on Windermere, after which he made a part in telecommunications before taking custody of the Exeter Chiefs. It's been a hectic 65 years, and he's not finished yet. How long before you win the Heineken Cup? Roughly.
Roughly.
Because it's going to happen. We all know it's going to happen. How long before you do it? 5, 10?
Yeah.
15?
I think if we can win the Heineken Cup in the next 5 to 10 years, I know it seems a long way off, but I'd be over the moon.
It's 20 years now since John Baxter, Rob's dad, asked Tony Rowe to dip into his wallet and sponsor the club's shirt. Back then, Exeter shared a pasture with racing dogs and dirt bikes. 2 decades have felt like 2 minutes.
My first cheque to
John Baxter?
Yeah, to John Baxter was £4,000, and look how much it's cost me now, eh?
It's vulgar to talk about money, but how much has it cost you?
Oh, I don't know. Tens of millions. Not tens of millions, yeah, a few million.
The plans for the future are simply breathtaking. A spanking 22,000-seat stadium with extended conferencing, banqueting and exhibition halls, which will ensure that, as now, Sandy Park doesn't just sweat on a Saturday. Scheduled completion is in 7 years. Work on phase 1 starts in January. To what extent are you still rattling the bucket? Have you got all the money you need?
I've got the money we need now for this next phase, okay? And the big phase, which is the auditorium on the end and the South Grandstand, that's about 20 million. And that's my target for 2016. Get the World Cup games out the way, 2015, then crack into the next phase.
As the club prospers off the pitch, so too on it. Barely have they been promoted, and they're now sitting astride Pool 2 in the Heineken Cup, and already they're top point scorers in this season's competition. What Tony Rowe has achieved in the boardroom, Rob Baxter has matched in the dressing room. They are the Romulus and Remus of the club, and hopefully, from Exeter's point of view, inextricably entwined. What do you do post-2015 if the RFU come knocking at the door, as they might, and say, do you mind if we have Rob Baxter for England?
I think Rob would look closely where he is, and he's got security. He knows where he's going. He knows what his future is. He knows who his boss is. And, you know, I'm fairly confident we would still be together.
For this weekend and next, Exeter measure themselves against the European champions. Brash, big spending, box office Toulon, a raging success story in their own right, but intriguingly, the very antithesis of every principle on which Exeter Chiefs have been built.
No, it's got to be sustainable. You know what I mean? OK, it's sustainable over there. You keep throwing money at it, but that's not the way to do it. You know, I can never see the value in the side. You understand? You see, you know what they spend on their players, and you're looking at them and thinking, yeah, he's 400,000 a year, he's 300,000 a year, but are they that much are they that much better than my players that cost me 100,000 a year, 150,000? I can't see 300,000 or 400,000 in some of them.
Tony Rowe's no stranger to crusades in far-flung lands. He and his mates have done charity motorbike rides around South America and Africa. Indeed, they were chased out of northern Kenya at spear point.
And I don't know what they thought we were going to do, whether they thought we were threatening them or what, but they weren't very happy. We didn't hang around to ask why.
But clearly, the continent that preoccupies him is Europe. Like Ted Heath or Napoleon Bonaparte, it is his living dream. How else does a bloke who reckons he's retired manage to keep so busy? So when you've won the Heineken Cup and you build the 22,000-seater stadium, what do you do then?
I'll retire then.
You have retired already. You told me you retired already, you said.
Oh, well, perhaps I'll take a day off.
Well, it's now 50 years since the drummer boy left Grove Road Secondary Modern in Gosport for the Royal Marines Band. And frankly, there's not much left on Tony Rowe's bucket list, bar one trophy. Will he land his holy grail? Put it this way, given how much he's achieved so far, how many would bet against the Exeter Chief?